Now, we told you earlier how unions are fighting the healthcare law. Now to their next target, which would be GOP governors. The AFL-CIO already naming the guys that they're going after in 2014's elections and ripping them for what they call scorched earth policies. To Labour activist Mark Brenner, you're going after them, I think, because they oppose union interests. That's why you're going after these guys.
Well, we're going after them because they are completely lapdogs for the corporate agenda, and their policies to date read like a manifesto in defense of Wall Street and the 1%. So,
However,
we're going after them.
However, in these states, and there's a list of them here, we've got Republican governors.
Wisconsin, Ohio, Maine, yeah.
Okay, we got them. They've got lower unemployment rates. Most of them have got lower unemployment rates than the national average, and much lower unemployment rates than places like California with Democrat governors who are union-friendly. You're going after successful states.
I would hardly call the policies that Michigan, Ohio, or Wisconsin have put in place as successful.
A 7.1% unemployment rate in Florida, 6.8% in Wisconsin. That's not successful?
They're A, not that far off of the national average, and B, I'm with you.
They're
absolutely,
below the national average.
I'm with
That's
you. We need to go after the governors in California, in Massachusetts, and mayors like Rahm Emanuel in Chicago that are doing things that are completely anathema to the union agenda, to the working class agenda.
Why aren't you going after governors who are not creating the environment which creates jobs? Why aren't you doing that?
Stuart,
don't
none of these
guys
policies
want
are creating jobs. We've been in a for working class people with not as many zeros on their checks as you have been in recession since 2008. Why are we blaming the people like lunch ladies and librarians? They didn't get us into this mess. This is a classic example of the politics of pitting the have-nots against the have-a-littles so the people who have it all can scurry right out of the limelight.
Do you think that tax and spend has worked?
I think that we absolutely needed to spend to get out of the recession and keep us from the next Great Depression. Absolutely.
You spent trillions of dollars, and you've only had one 13-week period of 4% growth. The rest of the time, it's 2%, the worst recovery from any recession since World War II. You call that a success?
No, of course not. And why not? Because as soon as we were out of danger, Stuart, what did? We went back to the same failed policies that for 2 generations we've been pushing, whether it's Democrats, Republicans. It's absolute free market folly, and that is why we aren't recovering. Look, you want to talk about the deficits. How can we pay our bills? Your last guest was talking about Medicaid and how Detroit's got all these pension obligations. No. Well, they're only looking at one side of the balance sheet. Our tax code is a freaking Swiss cheese.
I would ask you to look at the other side of the coin. What gets us all out of this mess is growth. Growth. 4%, 5%, 6% growth. Growth
you look at
raises
history, Stuart,
all.
where did growth come from?
Growth raises all boats. Growth comes from the private sector, a dynamic expansion of the private sector.
Absolutely.
The president is all in favor of all government all the time.
Investment. Look, you look at history, whether it's the 30s, whether it's the 50s, whatever period you want to pick, there will be no growth, private sector or otherwise, unless there's serious investment in infrastructure and healthcare and education on the part of the on the part of the federal government.
You're old enough to remember the 1980s, aren't you? Because I certainly did.
I graduated high school in 1987, Stuart. I remember really well. I remember Ronald Reagan turning homeless people out on the streets.
Oh, get out of here.
I remember the people.
People
died.
You're entitled to your own
policies.
opinion, but not your own facts. Ronald Reagan, wait a minute. Ronald Reagan lowered taxes across the board and stimulated the greatest period of prosperity and growth that this country has seen since World War II.
I think Bill Clinton would disagree with you, but either one of those people are
private sector growth, baby, the way to go. Hey, Mark, it was fun on Labor Day, wasn't it?
Thanks for having me.
There you go. All right.